What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Dope Life Podcast, the dopest podcast ever. And of course, your host, Coach AJ, Dope Life Coach, the dopest life coach ever. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another episode. And if you could be also dope and leave us a rating and a review, we would greatly appreciate it so the podcast can get out to dope individuals like yourself, because I am on my road to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube by the end of 2025. I'm claiming it. 20,000. So, yo, as always, let's go ahead and get right into it. So today's episode, I'm going to be talking about finances. I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty of what I've recently done in 2024 to really start taking my finances to another step. So I didn't quite wait till 2025. I kind of started, I would say like maybe halfway through the year. And what I did really helped towards the end of the year of how I shaped my finances, because at the end of the day, sometimes we think that we don't have enough, but we do have enough. We just haven't allocated it in the right way. So I'm going to go through a couple of tips that you can use starting literally today. And you're going to start today on how you're going to start taking control over your finances. So, as always, let's go ahead and get right into it. So the first thing that you want to do is create a budget. Now, you don't need no fancy Excel. If you do, use Google Sheets. It's free. If not, grab a pen and a paper, scrap paper at that if you want to. Get a calculator, which is legit, on your phone, and start going through every bit of your expenses. So go through your online banking and start looking at the reoccurring expenses, and also start looking at how you spend your money. It's important for you to be honest. Emphasis on that. Massive emphasis on being honest, because if you're just kind of going to sugarcoat the budget, it's going to be more detrimental for you along the way. By going through your expenses and what you're spending on a weekly and monthly basis, by the time you do the math to a yearly basis, you're going to be like, how the heck am I spending this money on this type of foolishness? Like, it just takes a step back for you to say, this is not it. Like houseway. And once you start implementing a budget on a monthly basis, it'll keep you more on track. But the key component to this is be honest with yourself. No more lying. The second tip that I've been doing is using the items in my house before I go and buy them. So typically growing up as a Caribbean household, like we'll have a backup and then a backup to the backup. And I realized that I took on that same type of thought process when it came towards purchasing things in my place. And I no longer do that. The reason why I stopped doing that is because then I have this overload of all this consumption of stuff that I don't need. And sometimes I would buy double of things without doing an actual inventory, which is the next step. Before you purchase anything, and I mean before you hit purchase, especially if you're doing it online, triple check if you have it at your house already. So before anything, triple check what you got in your fridge and use up what you have in your fridge before purchasing a damn thing. Now, I know people talk about this step too, but for real, check your damn subscriptions. There's probably some subscriptions that you don't need. I canceled a few, and I also paused a few because I just didn't need them at that moment. So one of the ones that I canceled at the moment is the PlayStation Network. I just haven't had time to play any online games. So for the time being, I don't have it. Another one that I honestly canceled was Prime, because I wasn't using Prime enough to justify the spending of the monthly fee when I'm not even ordering a lot of stuff, because I was trying to hold back on my spending. It made no sense. Also, talk to them. If you're thinking about, let's say maybe I'll cancel it, sometimes we'll toss an extra 3 months, and 3 months adds up over time. So maybe you take the 3 months, you see if you're really even still using it. And if you're not, maybe you just cancel the thing because you don't use it as often. You can't really justify the yearly amount that you're paying towards it. Now, this may sting for some of you. No more food delivery services. I know. But I want you to think about it. Have you ever gotten to the checkout? You order something, let's say it's about $30, and all of a sudden you got fee, tip. There's usually 3 fees. Forgot about taxes. And then you have to, of course, tip. And nowadays, what I used to do was over tip to pray that they wouldn't tamper with my food, because these days you don't even know. Not saying all DoorDashers and Uber delivery drivers do that, but sometimes there's been instances where I've looked and I'm like, bro, like, why'd you touch up my food? Just something like that. So that's why I personally said, on a hygiene side and also on a money side, I no longer want to use delivery services. Not gonna happen. Now, when you understand though, I will use it if I'm sick and I'm unable to go. But if you have a vehicle, I'm just gonna tell you this. If you have a vehicle, why the heck are you really ordering food? You're prepaid for the gas. Hop in there, and ding, 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 go get your grub. Order it as a pickup and go pick up your food. And I don't want you to think that we're constantly just putting money aside just for like to just have money. No. And I don't want you to think you're canceling and you're cutting and you're doing all this work. Start saving for your luxury items. So for me personally, I save for my trips. I may not even have a trip booked, but I know that if a vacation week comes up and I got money in my account, guess what? I'm booking a trip. Bye-bye. I'm gone. I'm out of here. And I realized that by pre-saving for the trip, it's so much less stress while I'm on the trip and more of a less stress when I come back. The only thing I got to worry about is if I spent a couple $100 while I was on that trip versus now I got to worry about a couple thousand paying off the ticket, paying off whatever else came with it, if it's all inclusive, whatever the case. Start setting money aside, even if it's just like $25 a week, $25 a month, even if it puts a dent into something that you don't have to worry about when you want to fly off. And if you, let's say for example, you have 500 saved and the ticket is literally 1,000, all you got to do now is come with 500. And if you have a couple of weeks, you can now have a couple of weeks or a couple of months to save up for that extra 500 for your trip. So you're good. You're not going with a stress on your head. You're going a lot more stress-free. I also want to add in one that I forgot to list is if you own a vehicle, save up $25 a week if you can. I learned this from Gail Vaughn, I forgot her name, but she used to have a show here in Toronto called Life and Debt. And she used to say, start like you have money for entertainment, have money for this, but also if you have a car, have a put like a little bit of money aside for car maintenance. Best decision I've ever done, because every time I go for service, literally it's covered. I already have it all there. I pay with whatever I pay, I gain a little points, and then I transfer it over. Yo, the system is there and it's automatic. It's automatic, yo. That is the best part about it. So you don't even have to worry about it too tough. Just take a couple bucks, even if you can afford $10, whatever. You know that you're gonna have a service in a couple of months. You're Gucci, you're covered. Now this one actually helped me in the back end. Look at other accounts that have really high interest. So sometimes you'll find that certain bank institutions, credit unions, all of a sudden they pop out, they're giving you 5%. You have to lock it in for, a couple months or whatever, right? And as long as you put in like 25 a month or something, I'm just saying hypothetically, but you're getting 5% by the end of, 5% interest. Obviously, if you put more money, the interest means more, but I'm just giving you an idea. Yo, that's free money. Money you didn't have before. Do it. Why not? Move your money around. People do this all the time. They move it around where they can actually gain more interest in the end. But I want to also add and tack on this. I'm 36. So if you're around my ballpark of age, start putting more money into, if you can, like not a lot, y'all. I'm talking about piecing it piece. Because once you cut back, now you can start allocating your money elsewhere. Start looking in RSPs or something for retirement. Start looking in an emergency fund, something like that. Like just, you don't have to put a lot away. That was one thing I used to always feel so guilty about, thinking that, man, I'm only putting away this amount a week or this amount every 2 weeks. But then when I looked at it and it built over time and I needed those funds later, I was so grateful that I actually did that. I was so beyond grateful that I actually did that. It was my mother that taught me that. She's like, yo, you don't got to put a lot away, but if you put piece, put a little bit here, a little bit there, over time, you will find that it builds up. Not to mention, if you do it in a high interest rate savings account, you're getting even extra money on top of that. It may not be a whole lot, but yo, it's extra money. Why are we getting pissed off if it's not a whole lot? It's money. So I do a monthly review. I look at all of this stuff and where I can allocate my money every month. And I wasn't doing that for a very long time. And it did, unfortunately, bite me in my ass. But the more that I'm looking at my accounts, the more that I'm looking at where I'm at, I can start being on my P's and Q's about how I'm spending my money. Moreover, where my money is going. Because sometimes we think we don't have enough money, but we do. We're just not spending it right. We're not spending it correctly. And then we feel like we're constantly chasing in a hamster wheel of how our funds are. So I really hope that these tips help you out a lot. So you could take some of them that work for you, because at the end of the day, money is tight for a lot of us and a lot of us families, and we have to make our dollars stretch. So even if you don't take all of my tips and apply, I hope you take a few of them and you start implementing or just give them a try. And as always, I will see you next week. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. And man, I hope that you have a dope week. Walk with peace. Walk with love.